Mayan mythology in a nutshell, the corn people and underworld ball games. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Dynamic Interactions. Today we're swapping our sun-drenched Egyptian deserts for the steamy, mysterious jungles of Mesoamerica, because if you're looking for answers to the universe's biggest questions, like where did we come from, or why does my toaster only burn one side of the bread, you've absolutely come to the right place. Well, at least for the first question. The toaster, my friends, remains one of humanity's most perplexing, breakfast-ruining enigmas. Now, before we plunge into today's absolutely mind-bending, world-shaping adventure, and trust me, this one's a true masterpiece of cosmic craftsmanship, I've got a little challenge for you. If, by the end of this journey, your brain has expanded, your mind has been blown, and you've genuinely learned something new, something that makes you go, whoa, that's wild, my entire understanding of cosmic clay has shifted, and now I see corn tortillas differently, then and only then do me a solid, hit that like button and subscribe. No pressure if you don't, but if your brain gets a little bigger today and you feel that satisfying thump of new knowledge settling in, well, you know what to do. Let's build this community of curious minds together, one cosmic origin story at a time. Part 1, The Great Silence and the Talking Book. So, you want to know how the universe began? Before we even think about the Big Bang or a giant cosmic egg hatching or even a lonely god sneezing out the cosmos, forget all that. For the ancient Maya, before anything, before time, before even the concept of before really made sense, there was silence and a vast primordial ocean. No stars, no sun, no land, no breathable air. Just a boundless expanse of calm, quiet water under an empty sky. Imagine the calmest, most utterly still ocean you've ever seen, but it fills absolutely everything. No annoying seagulls, no jet skis, just pure, unadulterated cosmic calm. This was the state of the world according to the Popol Vuh, the sacred book of the Quiche Maya people, which, get this, starts by telling us it was written because the world was in suspense, in calm, in silence. It was tranquil, it was calm, it was alone, and it was empty. Honestly, sounds like a pretty relaxing Sunday morning if you ignore the whole lack of existence thing. But here's the kicker. The Popol Vuh isn't just telling us this, it's basically a cosmic memoir, a talking book that somehow magically existed before anything else. It's like the universe's first audiobook, but without the irritating ads for noise-canceling headphones. It was. It held the blueprint, the wisdom, the entire story of creation within its pages, waiting for the right moment to unfold. So if you're ever feeling overwhelmed by the sheer, unadulterated chaos in your life, just remember at least your origin story isn't dictated by an ancient, omnipresent manuscript. Probably. Unless you've had a really, really long week, in which case I deeply, deeply empathize. Part 2, The Divine Designer's Heart of Sky and the Plumed Serpent. But how do you get something from silent, watery nothingness and a very eloquent book? How do you go from cosmic calm to organized life with humans, jaguars, and possibly even the first ever hot chocolate recipe? This is where our first major players come in, the ultimate divine design team. From the tranquil waters surrounded by the silence were two magnificent entities, Heart of Sky and Sovereign Plumed Serpent. Think of Heart of Sky, or Huracan, as he's also known, as the thunderous, powerful force of the heavens. He's the raw power, the cosmic energy, the guy who brings the drama. He manifests as a triune deity, Kakulha Huracan, lightning huracan, Chipi Kakulha, youngest lightning, and Raksha Kakulha, green lightning. So basically 3 versions of the same immensely powerful storm god. You definitely want him on your team when you're trying to spark creation. And then we have Sovereign Plumed Serpent, or Gukamats, or Kukulkan in other Mayan languages. Imagine the most magnificent, glittering, feathered serpent you can conceive, a creature of incredible wisdom, beauty, and ancient knowledge, soaring through the primordial emptiness. He's the intelligence, the artistry, the cosmic architect. He glides through the waters, a shimmering vision of potential. These two, along with other former and shaper gods, who remain a bit more in the background, sat there in the quiet, watery expanse, and they conversed. They talked about creation, they planned, they brainstormed. Imagine the world's most important divine meeting, probably fueled by cosmic caffeine and tiny celestial pastries. They thought the world into existence. They literally spoke the world into being, calling out, "Earth!" and boom! There it was. From the swirling mist, the mountains rose, the valleys formed, and the rivers began to flow. Talk about a powerful voice command. My smart speaker barely understands "play some jazz," and these guys are conjuring continents. It's the ultimate divine collaborative effort, a true testament to the power of a good conversation. Part 3. The Failed Human Experiments. Wood and Mud. Oh my! Now, with the earth, sky, and plants created, the gods had a new problem. Who would worship them? Who would nourish them with offerings and keep their glorious names alive? They needed beings who could speak, who could understand, who could remember their creators. In short, they needed humans. And this, my friends, is where the Divine Design team hit a few snags. Their first attempt? Mud. Yes, you heard that right. They molded creatures out of plain old dirt and water. Can you imagine? All right, let's try this. Just squish it together. Does it stand up? No? Oh, it just dissolves. Back to the drawing board. These mud people were weak. They couldn't move properly. They had no souls, no minds, and they just fell apart. They couldn't speak, so they certainly couldn't praise the gods. They were, frankly, a cosmic disaster, a mud pie that just refused to hold its shape. The gods probably just sighed, wiped their divine hands, and muttered something about needing a better binder. Undeterred, because divine beings are nothing if not persistent, the gods tried again. This time they thought, wood, aha, sturdy, stands up straight, doesn't turn to goo in the rain. So they carved beings out of wood. These wooden effigies looked like people. They could walk, they could talk, a little, and they even had children. For a moment, it seemed like a success. But there was a problem, a big problem. These wooden people had no hearts, no minds, no blood, no souls. They were empty. They couldn't remember their creators. They were like automatons, going through the motions, but without true understanding or feeling. They just wandered around, stiff and unresponsive, probably bumping into each other a lot. The gods tried to talk to them, to teach them, but it was like talking to a very beautifully carved wall. They were, in the words of the Popol Vuh, simply an attempt at men. And when the gods realized their creations were utterly useless at worship, they decided to wipe them out. Oh, it was messy. A great flood came. The sky turned black, and all the animals rose up against them. Even their own grinding stones and cooking pots turned on them. Imagine your kitchen appliances suddenly coming to life to smack you for being a bad creator. It was a divine apocalypse, a cosmic reset button, pressed because their previous models just weren't cutting it. These wooden folk became the monkeys we see today, a reminder of the gods' early failures. So, next time you see a monkey, just remember, it might be an ancestor who just couldn't quite grasp the concept of divine gratitude. Part 5. The Perfect Creation. From Sacred Corn. After two glorious failures, mud and wood, the Divine Design team, Heart of Sky and Sovereign Plumed Serpent, had a serious strategy meeting. What was missing? What was the secret ingredient? They needed something strong, something nourishing, something that represented life itself. And then it hit them. The answer was right there, growing abundantly in the newly formed world. Corn. Yes, folks, according to the Maya, we are literally corn people. The gods took white and yellow corn, ground it into a fine masa, or dough, and from this sacred substance they meticulously crafted the first 4 true men. Not just any men, but perfect, wise, insightful beings, Balam Kits, Balam Akab, Mahukuta, and Iki Balam. These were the true men of corn, intelligent, capable of speech, capable of thought, and, most importantly, capable of remembering and praising their creators. Can you imagine the relief of the gods? Finally, someone who can appreciate our hard work. Someone who can say, "Thank you for the sun and the delicious corn." They were filled with joy. However, there was another small problem. These first 4 men were too perfect. Their vision was too keen. They could see everything across the entire cosmos, past and future. They were almost as powerful as the gods themselves. Now, this was a bit much. The gods realized they'd overshot the mark. You don't want your creations to be too smart, do you? So they blew a mist upon the eyes of these first 4 men, slightly dimming their sight, making them perfect but not too perfect. Just enough to be grateful, but not enough to try and take over the cosmic control panel. And from these 4 men, the gods then created their wives, completing the human race. So, next time you're enjoying a corn tortilla or a delicious ear of corn, take a moment to reflect. You're eating your own primordial essence. We are the ultimate superfood creation, made from the very stuff that sustains life in the Americas. It's a culinary origin story, a testament to the fact that sometimes the best solutions are simple, natural, and utterly delicious. Part 5. The Dawn and the First Sunrise. With humanity finally perfected, the stage was set, but the world was still in twilight. The sun had not yet fully risen. Imagine a perpetually gloomy, overcast day, but for the entire planet. The early humans and gods gathered, waiting. They had built temples, they had prepared offerings, all in anticipation of the greatest show on earth, the first sunrise. And then it happened. The sky began to lighten, colors burst forth, and the sun, the magnificent Kinich Ahu, rose into the heavens for the very first time. It was a moment of profound awe and worship. The animals roared, the people knelt, and the world was bathed in light and warmth. This wasn't just a daily occurrence, it was the ultimate divine affirmation, the moment the universe truly came alive with energy and purpose. From this point, the cycles of time began to run, the calendar was set into motion, and the world became the vibrant, complex place we know. The Mayan cosmos was intricately linked to the movements of the sun, moon, and stars, and this first dawn was the moment that cosmic clock truly started ticking.
Part 6. The Lords of Xibalba and the First Ballgame. Now you might think, okay, world created, humans made, sun shining, everyone's happy, right? Wrong! Because even in the newly formed cosmos, there were forces of chaos and challenges to overcome. Below the vibrant earth, hidden in shadowy caves and thorny paths, lay Xibalba, the Mayan underworld. And it was not a nice place. It was ruled by a host of terrifying, disease-ridden, and generally unpleasant lords of Xibalba, like One Death and Seven Death, who loved nothing more than tricking, tormenting, and ultimately dispatching anyone who dared to enter their domain. Think of them as the universe's most aggressive celestial HOA, always looking for a reason to evict you permanently. It was into this treacherous realm that the original generation of divine twins, the father and uncle of the famous hero twins, were lured. These were the first father and Hunahpu Vukub, talented ballplayers who loved the sacred Mayan ball game. The lords of Xibalba, annoyed by the loud thumps and cheers from the ball court above, sent them an invitation to play a game in the underworld. It was, of course,
A trap. The brothers were tricked, humiliated, and ultimately sacrificed. One of their heads was even hung from a calabash tree, which then miraculously bore fruit. It gets weird, but also kind of beautiful. But this wasn't the end of the story. Oh no! From the lineage of these unfortunate ball players came a new generation, the legendary hero twins, Hunahpu and Xbalanque. These two were destined for greatness. They were mischievous, clever, and incredibly skilled at the ball game, often depicted with their iconic blowguns. They heard the story of their father and uncle's demise and decided it was time for some divine vengeance, or at least some serious cosmic payback. They bravely journeyed to Xibalba, facing all the terrifying trials the lords threw at them: the House of Darkness, the House of Knives, the House of Cold, the House of Jaguars, the House of Fire, and the House of Bats. They used their wits, their magic, and their undeniable charm, plus a bit of trickery themselves, to outsmart the cunning lords at every turn. They even let themselves be sacrificed, only to be resurrected from their own bones, returning as divine dancers and magicians, ultimately dazzling and outwitting the lords of Xibalba one last time. In the climax, they performed a fake sacrifice and resurrection act, tricking the lords into asking for it themselves, leading to their ultimate demise. Talk about a grand finale. Their victory over the lords of Xibalba wasn't just a personal triumph, it was a cosmic rebalancing act. It ensured that death was not a final end, but a part of a cyclical journey. It established the rules for life, death, and resurrection, paving the way for human existence to thrive without constant harassment from the underworld. And after their epic victory, the hero twins ascended into the heavens, becoming the sun and the moon, eternally watching over the world they helped make safe. So the next time you're having a bad day, remember the hero twins who literally descended into hell and defeated death itself, all because their dad needed some avenging. You've got this. Wrapping up, the cosmic drama continues. So there you have it, the expanded beginnings of Mayan mythology, a creation story that's not just about the dawn of the world, but about the ongoing struggle between order and chaos, life and death, and the incredible power of wits and courage. From the endless silent ocean and a very talkative book to the determined divine designers, through the hilarious and rather messy failures of mud and wooden people, all the way to the magnificent creation of humanity from sacred corn, and finally, the epic journey of the hero twins to conquer the underworld. It's a story steeped in collaboration, resilience, and the sheer persistence of divine beings determined to get it right. These myths weren't just simple stories for the ancient Maya, they were their profound understanding of the universe, the powerful forces that govern their daily lives, the sacred cycle of life and death, and the divine drama playing out around them every single moment. They shaped their religion, their art, their architecture, their societal laws, and their entire way of seeing the cosmos. And it all started with a powerful conversation, a very, very good recipe for cosmic corn masa, and a divine ball game that had the highest stakes imaginable. I truly hope you found this deep dive into Mayan origins as fascinating and perhaps even as amusing as I did while researching it for you. If your mind is buzzing with new knowledge, if you feel like you've genuinely learned something profound and surprising about how this incredible civilization saw the beginning of everything, then please consider hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel for more journeys into the weird, wonderful, and utterly captivating world of ancient myths, legends, and history. Your support helps me keep exploring these awesome topics and bringing them to you. Thanks so much for watching, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next video, where we might just explore the incredible Mayan calendar or the deeper mysteries of Xibalba. You won't want to miss that one. Bye for now.